Welcome to the High Ground Podcast, Mandalorian Watch. I'm Stevie W.
And I'm Callum.
Today we're now on the chapter 14, the tragedy. So what did you think?
Well, I was very disappointed with it. I'm joking, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. I mean, come on, week after 13 and 14 are definitely the 2 week episodes, I think.
Oh yeah. It was even just when you see, like, we'll get the spoilers out the way first. Boba Fett's back.
Yeah.
So we know he's back now.
Yeah.
But like, it scene where like it seems like they're getting their asses kicked, and you just like it pans up and he's got the armor on, and you just think, oh my god, like this is how we should have seen Boba Fett. Like, it's been so long since we've seen him in action. Oh, I was just speechless. I had to sort of pause and like realize that it was actually happening.
Yeah, I was what got me is I thought, I want to get the negative out of the way. The little flashback, which I couldn't skip fast enough, and you see Fennec Shand, Ming Na Wen.
Oh
that
yeah.
Pissed me off a little bit because I thought, oh, okay, you've just basically given it away that she's going to be in the episode. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm going to see Ming Na again. Yay! It would have been nice if it hadn't been preempted. I didn't.
On the recap thing.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I was skipping. They're annoying anyway.
Yeah, I didn't skip it fast enough because I just wanted to get straight into it. And I found out before because I was waiting for the fiance to finish work so I thought we could watch it. And so I found out who the director was, Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. And actually, when it said the credits, I was like, oh, of course it was. Like, he did get Boba Fett.
Yeah. I was like, so I knew it was Robert Rodriguez. So I was expecting. Anyone who knows me knows that I even got my cinema viewing chair out and had my snacks and everything. I thought this is going to be special. I want everything to be. So it starts, and I'm like, right from the start, I was like, with Goku and Mando, and I was like, this is Grogu.
Don't bring that shit, you serious,
What's that? So yeah, Grogu. Grogu. I don't know. Goku's man is what's it? Isn't it something like that? I don't know. Like geeky gaming something. I don't know. This way I get lynched. No, but when you see Grogu and the Mando, and he's doing that little thing, and it's just yes.
Yeah.
And the panning around, I thought the photography was fantastic.
Yeah, that planet as well. The photography on that was great, with the rocks and stuff. Like, it reminded me of like a set from like a Rapper thing, like action set pieces happening on the rocks.
Yeah.
Well,
when I saw that, I was like, it's just beautifully shot. DP Dave Klein. You know who the photographer is, don't you?
I do know that.
Dave Klein, Clerks, Morat, Chasing Amy.
Oh.
So the guy who talked about the deaths, who filmed Kevin Smith, this with in Clerks and Morat, Chasing Amy, and all the Star Wars references, is actually shooting Star Wars. So
nice little round journey there.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if we didn't find out to the end, but when I had the moment where when Grogu and Mando, Grogu's on the little ball, the thing, the temple, and you see the ship go overhead. I literally was like,
that big one.
Yeah. Charlotte my fiance was like, what's that? I said, you'll see. But no one else has that.
I did initially think like it would be someone else had the ship now, and then it's saw like the figure and that. I thought, oh, it's got to be him.
Yeah.
Because I did manage to skip the recap, I was quite surprised that it was Ming Na, so it worked on me how it should have worked for you as well.
Yeah. I thought this was really cool. The mask she's wearing.
Yeah.
Did it seem familiar?
Yeah, it looks like kind of like the one Leia wears in Return of the Jedi. When she's pretending to be the bounty hunter.
Yeah, a bush.
Yeah, it reminds me.
I remind me of a different bounty hunter, Zam Wessel, Attack of the Clones.
Oh yeah.
I thought
even quotes Jango Fett.
Oh, I love that. I'm just a
Oh.
simple guy trying to make his way in the galaxy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh. But just Slave One, I was literally, like, God, this is it. This is going to be it. And, you know, it didn't, and the action with Ming-Na and Boba, you know,
Yeah.
because I remember I was really getting agitated when you see on the first episode of season 2 the Marshal wearing the armor, because it wasn't Boba Fett. No one should wear his armor, you know, because as soon as you see the little dent in it, you know it's only Boba Fett's armor he was wearing. And I was like, no, take that armor off. It was winding me up. But when
Corin, is that his name?
Pardon?
Corin Vance or something,
Yeah.
The Marshal.
Yeah.
He does name again, actually, doesn't he?
He's say again.
The Boba Fett mentions that guy's name,
Yeah.
doesn't he, when he's asking about where his armor is?
Yeah. And the interaction between the Mandalorian and Boba Fett was, you know, the Mando being the whole like it's the Mandalorian's armor, Boba is like his armor, and making Jango Fett a legit Mandalorian now.
Yeah, I think I like the fact that the Mando kind of trying to keep the culture alive, isn't he? Whereas Boba Fett's just a bounty hunter, and like you say, it's his armor. He doesn't follow any specific, although he does still follow, like, you know, the end of the episode where he says, "We still owe you a debt, so we'll help you find the child," kind of thing. I thought, God, can this guy get any cooler? Because I used to think, like, when the prequels, you know, when they sort of did the DVDs and they made Tamara Morrison's voice on Boba Fett, I used to think, oh, I don't really like that. I think the original's better. But I think I'm kind of like swinging towards the other way now, because, I mean, we said, didn't we, if Boba Fett ever appeared, we'd like Daniel Logan to play.
Yeah.
But there is no other person. It's got to be Tamara Morrison, hasn't it?
I mean, I like Daniel Logan. Daniel Logan is too young to play Boba Fett now.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years, or have. And I would love to see Daniel Logan in the galaxy far, far away. You know, I don't care who he plays. Me, it'd be nice to see him play a Mandalorian or sort of another clone of Django. But you know, to actually have Tamura Morrison, you know, I think Tamura Morrison's brilliant. And he is, and he plays him well. It's kind of cool.
He's fantastic.
I just it would. I can't. It's every time he was on, even without the armor on, just seeing Tamura Morrison, and adding to the character. And I love the loyalty streak and the bit at the end where Boba is showing the code that's imprinted into his armor.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to do.
Cool.
I thought that's showing a real code of honor and loyalty. I thought it was brilliant, and Fennec Shand, I bet Ming-Na Wen, who's a big Star Wars fan, loved it. Say calling Boba Fett next to Boba Fett. That to me would be like, that would be heaven to me in terms of like Star Wars. Be able to being on film, standing next to Boba Fett and you calling his name. That would be like.
The only thing that could make that any cooler is if they could work in a Jeremy Bulloch cameo.
Oh yes.
Somewhere, you know, just like, I don't know, like as another Mandalorian, or I don't know, as some sort of like archivist or a librarian or something, like for the Mandalorians. That I don't know, they just can't seem to go wrong anywhere in the series so far. It's just so, I mean, and you even get to see stormtroopers getting there. I know that's part of the course, but would you? I made a prediction in one of the last episodes, didn't I, about the secret project thing being Dark Troopers?
Yeah.
And I was actually right for a change.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Dark Troopers? I mean, I remember them from Dark Forces, the game in the 90s, but what do you think of them?
Interesting that they've gone back to droids.
Yeah, because I mean, in the game, they were like sort of genetically engineered people. But I get the impression, in this, that they're not human. They're just sort of like robotic.
I just want to see what they want the child for. That bit where Moff Gideon and the child at the end, and the child taking so much crap.
Yeah, he's a good bad guy. I
He
like
is.
Moff Gideon.
And you just know when this troopers took the child, they're gonna die. And
Yeah,
and I just think, yep, and Moff Gideon is gonna get it. But
yeah, definitely. Hopefully, I think Boba kills him.
oh, that would be. That's another thing when as soon as Fennec Shan tells Boba to call it off, you know, because he was gonna shoot them out the sky,
Yeah,
and he says, yeah, protect the child, and that was just superb. I just thought, but seeing Slave One into going after them,
oh yeah, with Boba in the cockpit,
yeah,
it's just. Do you know when he first started going after them? I thought he was going to do the Empire thing and hide behind like an asteroid or something like that at first, and then follow them. I genuinely thought that's what was going to happen at first, but then I think it was just sort of like to show us what we're up against, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, having Cara Dune and Carl Weathers' character is one thing, but you know, that would be, but with Fennec Shand and Boba Fett, that's to me, those two together, that's like fantasy for me because I love Agents of Shield and Ming-Na Wen and Tamura Morrison, just that would be, and that I'd love to, of all the shows so far, that's the one set I would have loved to have been on.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, just Boba Fett being alive is like a Star Wars fantasy that's been there for about since 1983. I would imagine. Like, I mean, how many times, even in the expanded universe, they brought him back because they know how cool he is. But he is officially canonically back now. So,
yeah.
I mean, would you want to know how he got out of the Sarlacc, or do you want it to stay a mystery?
I mean, I'd like it to stay a mystery because everybody's got their own,
Like idea.
theories. I mean, I always thought he just climbed out, but how did he get his backpack out? I mean, he got it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's that whole story as to how did he lose the armor? Was he that weak? Was he pulled out? But there's a story there to be told. I think they're leaving it really ambiguous, so that if they decide to do a mini series,
yeah,
because it is there, because he lost the armor somewhere because Jawa's got them, and he wouldn't sell his armor.
No,
and
I think maybe he's sort of like maybe collapsed in the desert or something like that.
Yeah, because Jawas are a little. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, was it? So one thing. This is a little thing I just thought was so cool, and I thought I really want one now. Is a gaffy stick.
Yeah, no, they've kind of like become cooler across the years, haven't they? Like Rey used one, or one that looked like one in Force Awakens, didn't she?
Yeah.
And then now Boba uses it. Like it just, and we've seen. Like I was saying last week as well. It was nice to see. Oh well, we were speaking personally. It was nice to see expansion of the Sand people and like more of their culture, and so Boba using their signature weapon.
Yeah.
It's even cooler.
Another thing that really that I loved is once once Mando's ship's blown off, the Razor Crest, how the things that survived, the Beskar spear, and the little ball from the top, and you just knew he was going to take it for the child.
Yeah,
and
that was quite sad actually, because you've been following this ship so long now, haven't you? And it's been through some crap, and now it's just, I mean, whether maybe he's going to inherit Slave One, I don't know.
No, that's Boba. I don't think I wouldn't feel right with anyone but Boba Fett on Slave.
I've got a bit of a sort of fear that they're going to kill Boba Fett off. Like he's going to sort of sacrifice himself to save Amando. I hope he does carry on though.
Yeah.
Because it would be kind of, not silly, but it would be kind of anticlimactic to sort of bring this amazingly iconic character back and then just sort of say, well, we don't really have anywhere for him to go now. But I'd love him to go off with Fennec Shand and just sort of.
That would make a great series, but for a Mandalorian, or a limited series. But I love the Well, the thing was, this is with episode 2. It's the whole the thing with Boba is you explain a bit and it kind of loses some of his mystique. But I mean, I like him in episode 2. I think Daniel Logan's brilliant, and I like Django, but to actually, I really, I love Boba Fett, and I love him even more that his character. I love the loyalty. Quite expected the Mando to give Boba the Beskar,
Yeah.
and because it's the loyalty throughout, and that's what attracts me to both Mando and Boba. Is the whole loyalty streak. I just think it's fantastic. You gravitate to characters that you relate to, or you want to be like, and I just love. I love the development of the character, and only John Favreau. I've always said he made one of my all-time favorite movies, Chef, and he brought the MCU to life, and to now do what I'm thinking about it today. After Episode 8, and this is no disrespect to Solo Star Wars Story or Rise of Skywalker, that episode of The Mandalorian, the tragedy, to me, is the most important piece of Star Wars since Episode 8.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if you want 90% of a lot of time I've been waiting for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, the return of this character. And we've said this so many times before, haven't we? Like, that this is not even a character that's in the foreground.
Yeah.
He has what? How many lines left in the original stuff?
He's like put Captain Sculler in the cargo hold. He's no good.
Yeah,
Dead.
and he's killed like in a kind of chumpy way, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or not killed, but like, so I don't know. I mean, I'm expecting like some sort of dialogue to do with Han Solo and like a blank stare or something like that.
Yeah. But it's nice that he's. I mean, for years it was like nobody knew what I was like, a bit like Judge Dredd. But to actually have the helmet off and see him, it is nice to see him.
Yeah.
But can I just give a little bit of a shout out to? I don't know if you like the episode. I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, you do. Check out a film called Couples Retreat, starring Jon Favreau, and it's also got a small appearance throughout by Tamara Morrison, who's absolutely hysterical in it.
I haven't seen that actually.
It's good. It's good. I watched it about a year ago when there's nothing else on. It's like, Couples Retreat. It's got Jon Favreau. I haven't seen it. Okay, we'll watch it. But yeah, going back, you said about simple matter, the dialogue, Django's dialogue being delivered by Boba Fett.
Yeah, felt so right.
Yeah.
I just as soon as he said it, I just popped like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, this is the great thing about The Mandalorian. It's written by fans for fans.
Yes.
And it's something that Star Wars has needed for a long time. Not having different directors from different backgrounds who love it, rather than just a corporate angle of having a film made to make X amount of money. It's the freedom that television allows. I think Star Wars.
Definitely.
So I mean, this is how good Mandalorian is. What's Obi-Wan going to be like?
Do you want? I could say, we can have a young Boba Fett turning up in that one.
Yeah, that could be cool.
That would be a good way of getting Daniel Logan in.
Yeah, definitely. It's later on, isn't it? I think it's between 3 and 4, is it?
Got to be, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been going on and on about Boba Fett, which is a big deal. He is a big deal. We hardly mentioned the Mando and Grogu.
Yeah, well, we didn't really see much of Grogu in this episode, did we? Because he's sort of doing his little Jedi thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to. They didn't really explain what was happening, though, did they? So I think he's obviously had some sort of vision or something like that, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And it was nice to see him meditating like Yoda.
Yeah.
So that you can sort of parallel there. Yeah. No, but yeah, I was quite heartbroken.
Yeah.
Basically tortured. Although it's funny when he's throwing those stormtroopers.
Yeah. I like when Moff Gideon goes, he'll wear himself out.
Yeah, like a child.
Yeah, he's. It's the thing is, it's like you sit there. We've said this pretty much every episode, every podcast. Mando Watch that that you just you don't want. He's a puppet, but you don't touch the child. You're dead. He's like you touch the child, you're
Yeah,
gone. You're gone. And it's a puppet. There's
I
nothing
know.
more, nothing less than a
It's
puppet.
incredible though. Like the work they've done on it. It's like we were saying. It's just like Yoda, where you go through Empire and like not through malice, but you're trying to find like, oh, there's a string, or there's the lips that think up. But you watch Empire today, and it's still perfect.
Yeah.
Like even like Grogu is on the Mandalorian. It's just incredible, like the puppet work, and it does make you feel like this is a character, just a little cantina background extra.
Yeah. He is. I mean, but you kind of you got like you said, you care about him, but I mean, it goes back to. I mean, I think that the one the episode a few episodes back with the female Mando, whose name
Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh yeah, the one from Rebels and
Yeah,
Clone Wars, isn't it?
Bo-Katan.
Oh, Bo-Katan, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bo-Katan and her little crew. I mean, they made Mandalorians the armor cool. The fact that they've all got their own, and it's just that Boba Fett is. I mean, we've gone back to Boba Fett. He's so special, and yeah, just a kick in the. And Robert Rodriguez, I loved I just loved it. I just loved the fight sequences in that. In it, I just thought all three of them, Fennec, Boba, and Mando. I just thought was just that was spot on. That was that.
Like I said, use of the rocks was great.
Yeah. Yeah, and the bit where they smashed when Boba smashed the armor.
Yeah, that was cool. I always like the fact that their armor seems to shatter like when it's hit.
Yeah.
It's so rubbish, isn't it?
It makes you wonder if they were, because I know they've got the 501st in a few. Imagine if it was like a fan group that was there, the amount of fun they would have had just literally being in the presence of them.
He hit me again.
Yeah, it's like because I mean, imagine saying you got your armor destroyed by Tamura Morrison. That would be like a badge of honor.
Yeah, feel like a rebel getting killed by Vader in Rogue One.
Yeah. To be on that, to be lined up just to be chokeslammed by Vader, isn't that just
even if it's not David Prowse or David Prowse, it's because the characters are so like those two characters specifically. I mean, if we saw Vader again in anything, I would just wet my pants.
Yeah.
He's just him and Boba. They're just. I mean, it's even great when you see them together in Empire, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're sort of firing off each other, like, what happens if he dies, or the Empire compensates if he dies. And that sort of they have that rapport, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
And it was just great seeing Boba killing stormtroopers as well. They're just like. Whenever you need an action set piece for some fodder to die, stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're the redcoats of.
They are, yeah, the red shirts.
Yeah, red shirts. Do we lose points now if we make a Star Trek reference?
Nah, they're interchangeable, aren't they? Sometimes in things like that. But I mean, compared to the red shirts, though, I do still think the stormtroopers are incredibly iconic.
Yes.
Like you don't need to even know anything about Star Wars to know that that's a stormtrooper.
Yeah. I think go back to something I said a couple of weeks ago about can't believe I forgot her name. Jeez, I'm sorry. I did a shift on a paid job today, so Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka, yeah.
Yeah, how to not like to the younger generation. She's a big deal. So now to kids that grew up with the Clone Wars and the prequels and the sequels, to be introduced to on a grander scale to how cool the original generations found Boba Fett is, and it's going to be interesting to see basically how Boba Fett is now becoming cool to a different generation.
Yeah, I mean, because he's sort of so famous, isn't he? That like even my fiance knows who he is, and she hasn't got that much, not massive interest in Star Wars, but even she knows he's a sort of big deal and a big character. Even that's the thing. Like, I can never get over how popular he is as a character. Just compared to how much screen time he has. But then there are just characters that the image of them evoke the coolness, doesn't it?
Yeah, he is. I mean, what did your fiance actually think of the episode?
Oh, she was sort of like watching in and out, but when I sort of popped and she was like, "What's the matter?" and I was like, "Boba Fett's just come back from the dead," and she was like, "Oh, was he dead?" No worries. But no, but even she was like, "Oh yeah, there's the armor," like so she knows what he looks like. It was kind of cool as well that he didn't have it all on.
Yeah.
It was like around his whatever he had on at the time, like that.
Yeah.
That's I thought it was a Sith Lord at first.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a Sith Lord, doesn't he?
Maybe I thought it was more.
Yeah.
I thought with the way he has it in front, it was very samurai again, which goes into
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't like it because when we found out a couple of years ago, well, 1.5 years ago, as of recording, that Daniel Logan was going to be at the Return of the Garrison at the Space Center. Yeah, I was explaining to my fiance how much of a big deal Boba Fett was.
Yeah.
And she now knows exactly. So prior to going into prior to the first one, where you just see Tamura Morrison, she understands what a big deal that he was. But when I popped, like you said, when I saw Slave One, I was like, yes.
Here he
So
comes.
everything else, so it kind of, I mean, I can't say it was a distraction because I love the story, but it was like I just want to see. I just want to see the person in that ship. I just want to see him. And then when he was like, this was just, it was, I mean, we always do a 5-star rating when we end the pod, the Mando watch. But I was thinking about it. Giving it 5 out of 5 to me is sort of like I can't do it because it's beyond even. That to me is just perfection. Yeah. That's it's gone beyond. That was. I remember when we came out of Rise of Skywalker the first time. I had that feeling that I felt when I saw Return of the Jedi for the first time, and now that I'd watched something that evoked all the memories of going to see Return of the Jedi, and watching the tragedy, I had that feeling of I've waited so long for this, and it was worth it. It was, and it was just perfection.
It was set up so well. Like just seeing the flash of him at the end of the first episode, that was all you needed. You didn't need to have like an extended dialogue sequence or like anything like that. Just him turning around, walking off, like that was all you needed. Yeah. And you could have put the biggest amount of filler up to this episode, and I'd still have responded the same. Yeah. Just, I mean, and the fact that they still managed to carry on, like to tease the next part of the storyline with the child being captured and, that he's going to help them. That was the only, if I was to pick a slight, not even a criticism, but just like a sort of on reflection, it'd be that, like you say, you kind of forget about the Mando and Grogu because Boba Fett's so center stage. Yeah. But like, it doesn't take anything away from the episode. I mean, I think the reason sometimes you don't notice the Mando is because Pedro Pascal does such a good job of being part of that world.
I'd like to. I mean, this is one of these things that I haven't had the opportunity to really discuss because I don't want to say something to the wrong person that's not watched it. But to watch the episode as when I say that as someone that's just enjoying it but doesn't know all the lore, then I suppose it would just be a standard episode because they're secondary characters. But because in our minds, as we know the history and we have history with the character, that's why Boba and Fennec well, not too much of Boba, no, but are on a different level because they're more like the Cara Dune and Carl Weathers' character in, yeah, because they've got probably got the same kind of screen sort of time and the same development, but because
Yeah,
of the history we take into the episode, it makes it bigger to us. Whereas good things should be accessible to those. It's like sequels; you should be accessible to people that just come in on the sequel. And I think
yeah,
that if we didn't have, like me with Ahsoka, I still enjoyed her episode because I think, but to those and Bo Katan, but to those that have the history through the Clone Wars and the Rebels, then they would be huge, just like what Boba is
yeah.
to us, and that's
I
brilliant.
think you had a bit of sort of connection with Ahsoka because you watched the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars, didn't you?
Yes.
So that was the end of her story. So it's nice to like this is past the original trilogy now, so she's older and like I do think that they wrapped up that show perfectly,
Oh, that's
leading straight into Sith. Like it was the only way to do it, and it was Clone Wars is always her story. Like it was like when you see Anakin and Obi-Wan and Palpatine and all that, they're sort of like they're sort of not intruding, but they're in on her story. Like it was always her story. It was the movie, even the first movie, the pilot that came out in the cinemas. It was Anakin's apprentice, and it's always been her story all the way up to the end. So it's nice to see her sort of pop in someone else's story now.
oh, I totally agree, and I just want to go back to something you said about the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars. Is that I'd have paid to see that on the big screen. I would have,
Oh, definitely, yeah,
and I thought it was very cinematic, and it was a good bridge between 2 and 3. Attack of the Clones and Rise of Skywalker. Not Rise of Skywalker. Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. It to me was perfect, and I would have. Go back and you think about going into someone else. Well, I mean, Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson's brilliant. You can stick her in anything, I'll watch it. But
yeah,
to actually have her playing, she was superb, and yeah, and I would like to see somewhere down the line Ahsoka and Bett together because you get the 2 generations, and it's yeah. But I don't think it's gonna
yeah. I
happen.
mean, and she has that connection with the Mandalorians anyway. I mean, if you watch the Clone Wars or Rebels, there's quite a lot sort of goes into showing their culture, especially in Rebels, because one of the main characters is a Mandalorian, Sabine. And when she goes home to Mandalore, and at this time the Empire have taken over, and sort of, it's really Mandalore's cool because it's kind of like medieval. There's different like houses that hold power, and if you're born into one house, you're less important than another, and it's very similar to like things like Game of Thrones, and it's like that. It's like that medieval fantasy element that they've worked into Star Wars, which makes it work so brilliantly. And I'd love to see a series set on Mandalore. Actually, that would be fantastic.
Well, I think they've got a few more seasons of Mandalorian, so they could
Yeah,
touch on it.
yeah. I mean, like a live action. I'd love to see it live action because we've only ever seen it animated so far. But no, yeah. I mean, Jon Favreau actually plays a character in Clone Wars, so
I
uh,
will. I
if
will
we ever
watch
get
it.
to see him.
I would. I really would. That's the only thing I'll say now. That's the only thing so far in Mandalorian that I really want is I really want to see Jon Favreau in there because I am such a huge fan of Jon Favreau. Can I just do a little bit of a shout out? I wrote some because I did notes and I don't usually do this extensive. Anyone that's interested that really that loves the Mandalorian, check out the Chef Show on Netflix, season 1, episode 5. It's got Robert Rodriguez in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
And season 1, episode 3. I've got episode 3 down. Or was it episode? No, season 1, episode 13. Episode 13. Dave Filoni cooking at Skywalker Ranch. So, so it's episode 13 and episode 5, and I'm like, it's just like I said, Dave Filoni. I think if he wasn't doing what he was doing, he'd be the best film lecturer out there. And my last plug for something that I love, Robert Rodriguez, did a book called Rebel Without a Crew, which is my favourite book on filmmaking. I think I just about plugged all of those. It's like literally plugging all my favourite things that they've all done. I'm sorry. I just like to share it. And of course, Chef by Jon Favreau. Great movie.
Oh yeah, I mean you got me to watch that, so I will contest that's a fantastic film.
It's good because when I was growing up, and you see people and stuff related to you like, and you want to go out and watch more, and that's for those. I mean, look at Blade Runner, THX 1138, American Graffiti, Blues Brothers, Carrie Fisher. Just 4 things that I've watched just when I was growing up, just because of the Star Wars connection. And if you get to find these things that are non-Star Wars because of it, it's. And of course, Couples Retreat. I just want to say Couples Retreat because of Jon Favreau and of course Tamura. That's my plugging done. Do I have to say 5? Rating out of 5.
Well, 6.
Yep. I completely agree. This is the way.
Yeah, it's definitely a Phil Marks, isn't it? From the list.
Yes. We've been kissing an ass. We've gone for like over 36 minutes kissing the ass of the tragedy. Would you like to have the last words?
I think best episode so far, and I do agree with you that it's one of the most important things to happen. Star Wars, Star Wars wise. So yeah, no, I'm kind of disappointed in a way because like where can you go that would be better than this from here?
In Jon Favreau we trust.
I'm sure they'll find a way.
Yes. That's been Mando Watch 14, The Tragedy. See you on another Mando Watch.
Bye.